Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Cancer May 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James Clairvoyant. Well, this month we're going to use a famous deck, that of the Thoth deck. Now, the Thoth deck, many people find hard to read. Some people are frightened of it because of the imagery that's in it, or they're frightened of it because of the developer of it. Well, the alleged developer of it, which was Aleister Crowley, who was said to be a Satanist or something, but I can assure you he was not. He was, in fact, a nonconformist who came from a wealthy family and went through Cambridge University in England, and he then just became a free spirit, a nonconformist, and he sought to find his mark in the world by being a very good mountaineer, it has to be said, being an excellent chess player, it had to be said, and he was a very prolific but terrible author. But the real heroine of the story is the artist, Lady Freda Harris, who met Crowley in about 1937. And what was supposed to be a 6-month project to come up with the cards took 5 years. Now, of course, I've done a number of clairvoyant readings for people from all over the world over the last month. And if you might be interested in that, check out the information in the description at the end of the video, and there's prices associated with that. What is free is the other spiritual gift I have, which is that of healing. And I offer that to you for free over FaceTime and Skype, wherever you may be located, without any obligation. Nothing will be sold to you, and you won't be talked into having a reading or anything else. It's my spiritual obligation to provide it. Now, as I say, the genius artwork that's here really is from the woman who I think was influenced more by an Austrian guy called Rudolf Steiner than she was by Crowley himself. Let's get 5 underway for you now, shall we? So, show me the magic. The universe. The Ace of Swords. The Emperor. That's this. The 7 of Swords. Well, Crowley's contribution was to put stupid titles on the cards of the minor arcana, as we'll see in one of them just here. That's probably his great contribution to the deck, frankly. Anyway, I'll talk about that in just a second. So why don't I bring the camera around now? You and I can have a good close look at the imagery on this deck, which I'm gonna focus on getting this really talks to me, this artwork. Come with me, and together we'll look at it while these cards speak to us both, and I'll do the reading for you. Right, what a fascinating and great set of energies here for you. Now, this Crowley deck, actually the real hero, or the heroine of this deck, is Freda Harris, the woman who was the artist. She actually encapsulates the real mystical meanings associated with the tarot, but she also leaves open the door to bring in further mystical, spiritual, and practical issues as well. And so as a result of that, in homage to her, I've surrounded it with things that are often of interest to ladies, such as shoes and handbags and things. And I use these decks very often in readings for some of the ladies that I deal with. Now, let us have a look first at this. Where are we? There. Let's have a look first at this first card that you drew. Look at that. The universe. What do you have to say to me for my friend here? Well, it's the last card of the major arcana, and it actually closes the circle which began with the Fool. The great task, as it were, has been brought to completion, and now we return to the innocence and simplicity of the Fool. The drop disappears into the ocean, and the ocean pours into the drop. This completion is, at the same time, maybe a new beginning. I think some spiritual lessons have been learnt by you, and there has been an expansion to a higher level of your soul. You now, I think, also see yourself and the world as it really is, And this is suggested to me by this eye which is poking down there. That eye could be the eye of Horus, or it could be the eye of the Lord Shiva. All clothing and masks which you have been wearing become sort of pointless now and useless because you are coming to be at one with your original nature. You are whirling, caught up in the perpetual dancing motion of the universe. And the boundaries of your small eye, spiritually, are, I think, dissolving in a cosmic union with the universe. I think this is a completion of a project here for you. I think your efforts are finally paying off. It's been a long, hard haul, but you're almost there, or you have just gone past the finishing line. But this is a reminder for you to finish what you have started. And I think you are learning to take control of your own destiny. And in particular, you'll be using the power of your will to get results. And there could be some travel around here as well. There's a sense of burning off of karma, and there's a freedom from those things which have been restricting you. Just to have a closer look at this painting again, here we have a naked woman, really, who is dancing the dance of freedom. And through the eye of Shiva, or Horus, she has seen into the nature of the limitations. And with this insight, and I think this is symbolized by this sickle that she's holding in her right hand, she cuts through the web of ensnarement. Of course, you can interpret all of these cards in whichever way that you want, but I see what I see. Now here, even this gigantic serpent, the serpent of transformation, it's sort of lost its function for a time now with you. The energy has been transformed. You've gone through something, and there's a new quality that exists. That previous transformatory period has outlived its usefulness. And certainly there is nothing left which is poisonous, and there's nothing left there to bite you at all. I think it'll be someone who's really gifted at starting things and finishing things at the same time, I have to say. You'll be very gifted at that. You may well find that you have a desire to experience as much of the world and its people as is possible. And you might even find that you are quite ecologically minded. I think that it's now possible for you to see things as they really are, because the stage is set for a new beginning or a really favourable, successful completion of something. And the events in your life are in harmony with the universe. Now, from what aspects of your life is it a time to free yourself? Is there a journey or an enterprise waiting for you to set in motion? Now trust your perceptions now, and make a list of all unfinished situations, which, if they were tied off, would give you a sense of relief. And say this to yourself now: I love to travel. I love to explore the unknown. I am excited about bringing ideas and creative projects into form. I deeply value making a contribution that makes the place and people around me better. I am at one with the universe. Now, interestingly, although there is, and incidentally, great power here, great gain and material progress for you here, there is nevertheless just an aspect of self-doubt with you. Some sort of self-doubt, some sort of, am I able to do this? You have things to do. You're going to be successful at them. So let's have a look at why there might be some doubt here. Well, it's because there is the moon in Aquarius. Well, the emotions of the moon, and I also see in here Venus being associated with this number 7, feminine Venus. But the emotions of the moon, together with that energy of Venus, they cloud the intellectual qualities of Aquarius. Aquarius is thus weakened, perhaps giving you a sense of discouragement at times, negative expectations, a sense of maybe a lack of clarity or something. Now, if we look at the picture, the painting that's going on here, the large sword in the center is attacked and injured by 6 smaller swords. And a big sword loses its energy and endurance. Now, the smaller swords look to, each has a planetary symbol on the top of them. And I think that these could represent pessimistic thoughts, which, if you don't get rid of them, are going to prevent clear success. Now, conscious and unconscious being the moon, and this looks like a symbol for the sun down here for conscious. They've sort of traded their positions. Normally you'd have the sun on top. So there could be some gloomy, subconscious expectations that are disturbing your insight into things, so much so that you could have some degree of anxiety. Although I have to tell you, everything in reality is going perfectly well. And I'm looking at those 6 small swords there, and I'll explain them in this way to get this point across, I suppose. Starting at this side here, we might have here the planet Neptune. They've got the planetary symbols around the top of them. Here we have Neptune. It might be that you say that everything seems to be clouded by a film or a veil. I just don't know what I really want. Or Venus. But it's all just too good to be true. You have Mars, where you say, I haven't the energy, there's no time, or I'm already too old. Jupiter, you might say, well, that's too much good at one time. I could never cope with so much success. And then, that'd be Mercury, the planet of communications. But I just won't be able to get the points across properly or in a way that people can understand. And then finally, I suppose that would be Saturn. That is that it's simply too much trouble and it takes too long. Well, these literally destructive thoughts don't need to be taken seriously by you. Banish them, recognize them, and say you don't belong in my life. Because the reality is very different to what you might be thinking it is. And very soon, you're going to look back at these moments of doubt that you had, and you're going to laugh at those doubts. Your fears actually have nothing to do with reality. So, wake up is what this card is saying. Wake up and see reality for what it is and what is really happening now. In what areas of your life do you put yourself down with your own limited ideas? And what are your restrictive belief systems? Say this to yourself. You overcome this, incidentally. I master all the skills and means needed to achieve that for which I long for most deeply. And you certainly do, because I'm looking at this, which is Ace of Swords. Gee, right away, I'm getting a lot of energies around you of Aquarius and Pisces and Capricorn. Now this is the root, the lord of the powers of the air. And this is actually saying that you are going to have, notwithstanding those self-doubts that you may be wallowed in for a moment, you're going to have clarity of mind, original thinking, brilliant powers of thought, almost divine inspiration that's here. Now on the blade of this green sword is engraved Greek That means, well, it means will. Now, this is a symbol of creative energy, which is brought into being through intellectual clarity for you. Because you know that what you create in clarity is going to enable the thing to come into fruition, and you'll be able to pass it on. Now, the grip of the thing here, I'm just looking at this, has got like a coiled snake around it. 1, 2, 3 sun symbols and a couple of crescent moons. Well, the unconscious moon comes into the light, the sun. And the snake, the symbol of transformation, shows that the unconscious energies are becoming accessible, that they're going to move across into your conscious mind. And the energies that are released in this process will be able to be used by you. So what you're going to end up with is, I think, a great clarity. And this is going to be a wonderful condition for the things that you undertake. You will be able to recognize facts and call things by a name which other people probably want to keep swept under the carpet. Now, this does bring about a bit of a responsibility on your part. Don't express your brilliant insights heartlessly, but when you are fully in contact with love, use your sword without sparing yourself or others. Now, you might ask yourself, for example, what supports and what hinders your clarity? This is a period of insight and clarity. There could well be a real breakthrough moment. The achievement of your goals is now easier. And you have that new perspective on life, remember, which has come from the universe here. And this is backing it up because you have gained a new vision and you will pursue opportunities which draw upon your creative and your mental abilities. Say this to yourself during this time and rely on it, that I trust my clear perceptions. Well, we may as well, we're not finishing it, are we? No, we've got this thing to come. I'll do this first. This is, look at the colour on that. Well, the colour on that comes from the planet Mars, the fiery planet of Mars. This is the Emperor, the son of the morning, the chief among the mighty. I think you may well be primarily concerned with power or control over other people, or yourself, actually. I think you'll be a natural leader and organizer, and you'll be able to properly exercise your willpower and judgment as a result of what you've learned through your previous life experiences. There's a success here for you, but the success is coming about as a result of discipline and sticking to things. Now, in line with that Ace of Swords which we saw there, this is backing it up by saying that you're going to be a very rational thinker. I think that status is going to be quite important to you, as is material security and stability. I don't see you being passive. You could well be quite fiery from time to time. The energies around here speak of a pioneer, a discoverer, a leader, someone who starts something. A lot of creative wisdom here, and an urge to do things. Urge to start new things following this phase. There's new beginnings, parenthood. A lot of ambition to be seen with you as well. Now, the Emperor is portrayed here as a crowned man, obviously, in a very majestic gown. Now, this globe with the Maltese cross, that's a symbol of his royal dignity. And that represents the unification of wisdom and worldly mastery for you. Now, his throne, which glows with the fiery colours of Mars and the sun, together there, because there's a lot of Aries here, and the sun is exalted in Aries. Well, there's also here these Himalayan rams, which also speak to me of this Aries energy, I guess, that's here. Now, his scepter that he holds also bears this symbol of power and adventurousness. The reclining lamb with the flag of peace represents the other aspect of the ram. You see, the qualities of true leadership include humility and submission to the cosmic law, as well as dynamism and power. You see, with Mars here for you, Mars also governs Scorpio. Now, Scorpio is another feminine sign, and water sign. Feminine and water, just as your sign is feminine and water. Scorpio is the fixed sign of water, and the attributes of Mars there are not to be the tear away, stab everything, kill everything in sight, but it's really that which protects. It protects the young, it protects the home, it protects the things which have been built up. If you can imagine a wolf mother going out to protect her cubs, then you get the idea of it. That's what's going on here. These double sun signs show creativity, I think. And these double eagles that we see down here, they symbolize the inner and outer changes brought about by the creative energy of the sun, and also refer to the Emperor's creative energy, is how I put it, which is going to be very strongly pronounced with you at this time. Now, this new beginning which is coming for you may well be you expanding your territory, or acquiring new territory, if I can put it that way. You'll understand what I mean by that. Now, on this material plane, it could mean the beginning of a new project, or a different job, travel, or parenthood. And on the inner plane, new realizations may emerge. Now, the insights into areas previously unfamiliar to you, or some sort of a dramatic self-revelation or self-discovery are also possible here. But the Emperor's powers need to be used wisely and not just to maintain things. Use them kindly and for the good of people. This is a really good moment for a change or a new beginning for you, so trust your own energy and go with it. You might ask yourself, for example, what changes does your life need? And are there steps you would like to take towards this? Examine yourself critically, especially in regards to your relationships with people who are kind of further up and further down the power pole, if you like. But say this to yourself: I enjoy starting projects. I value and honor my leadership ability. I am a responsible person, and I trust my power. I serve by ruling, and I rule by serving. And then that takes us finally to, let's have a look here. Well, wealth, is it? Let's have a look. Well, that's what they call it, but who knows? Well, just looking at this card here, I think I might have called it something different, I can't recall. The card here is saying what to me? Well, first of all, it's Mercury, ruling the third decan of Virgo. Now, Mercury rules and is also exalted in Virgo, so that's really good. So you'll have good communication skills as a result of Mercury, and good organizational ability as a result of Virgo. So there's success and abundance with this card here. There are inner and outer riches, the ability to make inner wealth visible and to share it with others. Now, what we have here is, I'm just looking at the painting, yellow-green coins, each engraved with a symbol which is related to Mercury. Now, active Mercury, in combination with the earth sign of Virgo, is in an excellent position to employ brilliant powers of communication. Now, the origins of any type of wealth lie in human consciousness. And if this boundless inner treasure is brought forth into the world, then it manifests and is reflected on the material plane. Now, I notice that these coins are all arranged in the Kabbalistic tree of life, which I will not go into. But I will say this, though, is that this indicates that true wealth must touch all levels of your life. Now, Mercury in Virgo represents an overflowing on spiritual, emotional, and physical levels. These riches must be shared, communicated, if you like, if they are to remain valuable. Because when they're hoarded up, the energy stagnates and becomes foul, and clinging and grasping arise out of fear, conscious or unconscious, fear of deficiency, and they express a poverty mentality. Even the greatest treasures lose their worth if not used in the service of love. I think that this is represented by the violet coins that are in the background. Holding back energy, which is an expression of wealth, turns it sour. And these coins have lost their shine. So, remember, you have attracted to you everyone who is a part of your life. You have created every situation in your life, and you create your own reality. The wealth is in your hands to do with what you like. The responsibility is yours, and you are endlessly wealthy. Now, do you know about your inner wealth? Do you share it generally? Write down all the qualities which constitute your inner riches, and say to yourself, I am internally and externally rich and free, and enjoy everything thankfully and in surrender. Well, what a good job you did. I think you'll agree with me that this deck, when looked at properly the way that we have just done now, has an enormous amount to offer, and the artwork is just genius and brilliant, and that accounts for why it has lasted as long as it has. Anyway, unless I see you privately for a clairvoyant reading or a healing, then I'll see you again next month. And until then, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.